Happy Monday, boys and girls. Happy, glorious Monday. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, and I'm coming to you live on Memorex from the default route, default location. No sinus pain, no headache this morning. I had one that kind of started yesterday. Took a couple of Tylenol. It kind of knocked it out. It does seem to begin with sinus irritation and little jabs or pulses of pain or sensitivity to something. And then I could feel the back of my head start to tighten up. And then my eyes get kind of, not sore, but pressure. You know, if I was to like rub my eyes, I could feel like pressure up on my nose and all that. But none today so far. So we'll see how it goes. So I feel pretty good. Not only that, I woke up and Mr. Skill told me 197.0, which is probably incredibly good, especially on a Monday after a weekend. Where weekends I have been notoriously known to overeat and put on excessive weight or weight gain, take on excessive calories, etc. So to come back and start on a Monday at 197 is very encouraging, to say the least. Starting the week off under 200. So we'll go from there. I'm out here walking. It's fairly hot. I'm thinking I'm gonna drop at least 2.4 pounds on this walk, which would take me down to 194 something. Over the weekend, I walked and it was, you could call it an anomaly walk because I dropped like 4.5 pounds. It was hot. I was sweating a lot. It was mostly water weight. So I didn't really think of it as being the actual amount that I lost. I didn't consider that to be like, a very anomaly weight, outlier. I knew it was an outlier. It was down like 193. I was like, whoa, so loaded. The app said, congratulations. I got some kind of special reward because I think I had my, a metric set, a goal set. And I succeeded that goal, even though I don't quite believe it. Also, I was gonna say, walking this path, oh, look at my boy. I don't know if you can see him, but I can see by the way he kind of did his little, I don't want to say spastic reaction, but his little Tourette's type jerk. He's usually down at to see him back that I walked past already. And I didn't see him. In fact, I was gonna comment, one of the reasons, they just gonna stand there and hit the button. Hit the button. Don't you know how to hit the button? There you go, hit the button. You gotta hit the button. And so, I didn't see him down there. In fact, I was gonna say that I didn't see anybody down there. It was like completely cleared out. They starting to, I don't know if they clean out for the Olympics or they're doing this or doing that, but there was none of the usual suspects. And, I'm not saying that this or that or whatever. I've definitely more than just grown accustomed to them. And, it's entertainment. It keeps it lively. There's always something to it, Now it's just nobody there. It was just me walking down there. Felt kind of weird. But the usual suspects. You just get used to seeing people and things down there. It was all It wasn't clean yet. They still kind of cleaning it and doing landscaping, but definitely unpopulated, and it's getting there. You know, I don't know. Do I want it all pristine and nice? Do I want it to be all pristine and nice and this, the way it quote unquote should be? Or would I rather have some entertainment, some action, some livelihood? Look at my boy here. Look at my boy, you see him? See him wave? It's my buddy. I'm gonna give him some money one day. He's been out here for years, real cool. He's been out here for a long time. That's the one I saw someplace else, and he recognized me, he waved. You know, really humble dude. You know, seemed real nice. I'm gonna give him some money one day. But I know they're gonna get a lot of this cleaned up for the Olympics, and they built a new metro station at my stop. 2 years, they say it's gonna take. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to get it done before the Olympics, because I think there's events in Supposedly Basin, so, you know, they wanna have traffic and metro and have, you know, the city ready for the Olympics. People get around, and, you know, a lot of the homeless probably gonna be put away wherever they go. When they go. People be having these motorized bikes. They look kind of cool. I would like to ride one day. I also want to ride the scooters, the little stand-up scooters you can rent. I want to try that one day too. With those motorized bikes, even though you really don't get no exercise out of them, you can like get around, look at stuff, explore. Might be nice to have it, you know, on the coast or whatever. How that works, I don't know. I mean, if it's riding a PCH or riding up the beach or this or that, I don't know, if it seems would be nice to have a, you know, motorized transportation like that. Here go one of them scooters I was talking about. I'm sure y'all seen them before. Just wanted to get a shot. Here's another one. They be having them all piled up and just standing there. One time, when they first came out, there was like a whole pile of them. They had fell off. Here come these cats. Now here come these cats, taking up too much space. These old men. Now watch, you're gonna come up here and they ain't gonna know how to act. They're gonna look at each other bumbling, knowing you see me coming, so move out of the way. Now see, there's 3 of them, here we go. Now watch. Now tell me if I'm wrong. All right, now watch. They're gonna start bumbling up against each other. See, the one over there needs to move over, one needs to move back. There we go, single file. Here he goes, single file, yay! Single file, there we go, good job. Yes, single file, did you see that? That was the first time. I think the first time they ever did single file. So, you know, because they be bumping up against each other and trying to move. I'm like, get out of the way. And sometimes with them, I always get into the right position. With them, I always get into the right position. Meaning the area that I'm designated to walk in, I'll get in the walking area. Now see, I'm walking right now on the wrong side because there's somebody walking towards me. So I know that I'm out of position. I'm in a a place where I shouldn't be. So I have to take on, well, quote unquote, all the, responsibility of knowing that I'm out of position. And accept that, and I can do that. So now, even though I'm walking this way or that way, this is still the walking lane. That was cool though. Happy Monday to me. They did it. They actually did it. They actually did it. I wonder if they're gonna do it again. That's why I tried to encourage him. He kind of looked up looking weird. I was like, yeah, man, y'all coming down there. I can't be riding side by side. But I got it on video. You see, I got it on video. They actually did it. And they're gonna be coming back this way. So we'll see how they handle that. We'll see how they handle that. But anyway, it's a good day. 197.0 for a Monday. Oh my God. And what I'm used to, and whether it's healthy or not, or almost what I expect, I could be down below 190 by the end of the week. And I don't know if that's reasonable or how I want to do that. And I'm not pressing it, because it is, not that it would take a lot, but I don't even know if I want that, to be honest with you. I don't even know if I want to lose that much. I could probably go, if I could just stay at 197 all this week, for 1 week, stay at this weight, whatever, for one whole week, or even a couple weeks, and then drop some, I'll probably be happy with that. But we'll see. I got my salads and stuff at home, so I should be able to eat reasonably tonight. I'll have my tiny little breakfast. Another work week. I should get back to my work week today and look at my chronos, and it should say that I have 22 hours of vacation, because I worked 2 whole weeks last week. I worked a full pay period, uninterrupted, no PTO. Had even a perfect check-in, log-in, perfect time card, beautiful. Punch in at 12, punch out 7:50, no anomalies. I did think I had to go over lunch one time. I think I had to go 5 hours. I went longer than 5 hours on a lunch. So that's an anomaly. So but that's just, I get an hour overtime. I know it's stupid. I get an hour overtime because I didn't take lunch on time. Damn California. Give you everything. And my check, we get paid this Friday, and I think some of my back disability pay should be in there, so that should be nice. So we'll see. Things are good. Things are going well. I feel good. And I'm ready for the work week. Ready to get in there. I'm actually ready to get in there. Almost looking forward to sitting down, getting things set up, and accepting the challenges, knocking this out and doing it right, quote unquote right, and enjoying it, because it's so important. It's just so important, this job. And not only this job, but me enjoying this job. For the next 7 years. Until I hit 70. Then I retire. When I should, and if they don't, and as the way Social Security stands now, I think I'll be getting $3,700 a month, $3,800 a month from Social Security, 36, 37, 38 a month. And if I was to go back to Ohio or someplace, I'd live like a king. Well, not like a king, but What would my other save money? I almost be able to operate without touching my other money. And if I was to act right here, no, I'd have to live off $1,600. Say I got $3,800 a month. My rent is $2,000 now. So, I mean, if I moved out someplace farther where it's a little cheaper, got my rent down, maybe $1,500, which is probably impossible. You know, the idea of buying something out here with the interest rate so high isn't so attractive anymore. But when my coworker said, you just gotta bite the bullet and get in. You gotta bite the bullet and get in, and 23 years from now is when the reward comes. You know, but the interest rate were real low. They got us spoiled of going through the experience of having them so low, and how cheap it was to buy a house and to borrow money. Now it's kind of hard to, you know, with the interest and all that, it gets to be, you know, hard to stomach, if I could put it that way. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And that's where we're going. No, is that where we're going? Is that where we're at? I don't know. I don't know how to put it. But another thing, coming to splicing these videos together and doing this, doing that, I took the compression off. I took it off. I'm having too much trouble. I'm having too much trouble splicing these videos together. They shouldn't be taking that long at all. And I'll just have to go ahead. This dude been out here a while. I've seen him more than once. And I'm just gonna have to go ahead and take the hit on storing the data, because splicing these videos together, it's way too, it takes too long to render. Way too long to render. So, just not that I have to render every time. The only time I really have to render is if I, you know, splice it. If I splice a video, and like if I come up and, you know, do something. Who is this? See, here's some kind of stuff I'm talking about. Usually don't be black folks out here, though. To be honest with you. You don't usually see that, actually. You don't usually see that out here like that. That's kind of interesting, you know? In fact, yeah, you don't usually see people down at this end anyway. Not on a black female laid out like that. Not that often. Not that often. Usually Mexican or white female or Mexican. Even some younger people, but you don't see that often. But anyway, you know how it goes. No, you might not. Come to think about it, let me stop. You might not know how it goes. This might be all new to you. This might not exist in your city. Because of the weather here, year round, homelessness is a more than just a viable option. Because you can actually, even in the wintertime, you can sleep out here. Basically without freezing to death. I was saying, even with all the abandoned houses back in Ohio, you still can't stay in them because it gets so cold. Yeah, you got a house over your head, but it ain't no heat, you'll still freeze to death. But out here, you could basically sleep on the goddamn street. You can sleep on the street almost year round with a tent. And let alone the fact that they set up these sanctuary cities and came up with laws and stuff to almost make it legal. No, I'm going too far, but you know, laws and stuff just about make it legal to do it. Almost feel like they're protected and got rights to sleep on the street or whatever. I mean, I'm going too far, but you know, you get the idea. And then, you know, there's a lot of sympathy for them and this and that, and, you know, public outcry, and, you know, it's like they present it to a point that where it's our fault that they're homeless. We got to do something about the homeless. Like it's presented out here like it's our fault and we're responsible. In ways, that's true. In ways, we do need to clean up the street, you know, to make it more palatable, make it more aesthetically pleasing or whatever, you know, for businesses. That part you may have a vested interest in doing. But the way it's presented out here, it's like they make it almost seem like it's our fault that they homeless. They put that pressure. You owe it to them, kind of plan on it. So when you watch the news and stuff, that's what you get. Or especially I was listening to KNX, and just some of the slant. You know, it's nothing said in words, but it's the way it's said, and well, the way the words are put together kind of indicates their political stance on a lot of things. It's like, oh yeah, Trump instituted a horrific blah, blah, blah. That lets you know right there how they feel about it. Or instead of just saying, Trump instituted you know, just putting it straight. No, they got to put that adjective on there. And they know, they being the advertisers, corporations, people marketing, because news is entertainment, people. CNN and MSNBC, it's entertainment. It's about advertisers. It's about getting people to pay to have their ads run on their network and stuff. So, you know, even though it kind of, you know, they want to get a balance, the best balance they can between politics and supporting a fan base or an audience, like the MSNBC audience, people who believe that certain way, the Fox audience, people who believe in a certain way. They want to hold on to that audience, but they also want to hold on to advertisers. So it's a balance, and it seems to be over the last few years, even decade or so, the more biased they became, the more popular it became. So they went with it to the point CNN became unwatchable. CNN used to be my go-to. MSNBC was too far. Fox was too far. CNN started to slip and get a little bit more biased and this and that. And probably all of them did, everybody did. I think maybe everybody got radicalized during the COVID George Floyd thing, one way or the other. Even I became, after that, nauseated by it all on the left. And even I became almost radicalized against the whole idea of every time you see a black cop, or a white cop, and a black man, it's the white cop's fault, no matter what happened. And that Riverfront Brawl thing, that's criminal. Both ways, I don't celebrate that. And not only that, people are saying, yeah, we finally stood up for ourselves. We stood up and fought back. Which, we've been fighting back for 100 years. What the hell are you talking about? Finally stood up and fought back. The fuck? Y'all been kicking Hookie's ass for years. In fact, you be up damn there tormenting them and what's the word? Not antagonizing, but bullying them and pushing them around, walking around with the laws behind you, affirmative action, this and that, all kind of legislation, hate laws, all this. You've been bullying and manhandling white folks and standing up for yourself for years. You ain't gonna say they happy, they saw that happen. I mean, it was cute and it was fun, the memes were good. And then the black dude swimming over there to get some. It was, you know, even I had to go, damn, that was cute. You know, some of it was very well done. But then after them to do that, and to go, and to corral up again, and go down there and jump on the boat, that's criminal. They go to jail too. And then it gets to the point where the police, well, we might not want to prosecute them. We don't want riots in the streets. Maybe we could just not, you know, let them go. You know, they are black, you know, and they went through slavery. So it's probably best we just, you know, don't say anything about their criminal activity, going rounding up a posse and then go down there to the boat, almost like after it's all over and everything, and want to lay hands on start a fight and stuff. You know, and let alone the fact there's like 30 of them, wasn't even a fair fight. What is that? It don't matter. He shouldn't have been messing with my brother. They shouldn't have done this. What they get for jumping on my brother. No, that's not what they get. That's not the law. That's you breaking the law too. You go to jail just like they do. But no, the media would never bring it up that way. Maybe Fox News might, but the media knows better. Nope, stay away from that. Just don't even act like we didn't see it. As I was saying, you know, when the last time you saw on the news, national news, a black person committing a crime? You don't see it no more. And actually, you don't see any more white cops killing black men anymore. I'm sure it still happens, like John McWhorter and Glenn Lowry was talking about the other day. I'm sure it still happens. We just don't hear it no more. It's just like it's over. Okay. You know, I don't know what's going on, but it's like it stopped. But during that time, last couple of years, whatever, you ain't hear nothing about a black man committing a crime. Black people just stopped committing crimes. Black people stopped murdering white people. I'm sure we look someplace, there's gonna be a bunch of places where black people don't kill white people, but you ain't gonna hear about it. You ain't heard about it in 2 years. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That's the stuff that I quote unquote got radicalized against. It's just unfair, it's unrealistic, it doesn't represent reality. As you can see, I'm feeling like pretty good. I think I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm feeling pretty good today. We'll see, one day at a time. One day at a time. I'll get back, I'll sit down, I'll have my breakfast, I'll get my computer set up. Pittsburgh won Saturday. They look good doing it. And I know it's preseason and it's fake football and none of the best players played. But it was more about execution, protocol, and mindset of the whole organization. It was just the way the offense came out and executed. No penalties, no procedural problems. No, it was run efficiently and orderly and on time. Minimal mistakes, no injuries. Execution looked good. You know, everything ain't perfect, but people were in their place. It looked disciplined, almost. And hopefully that'll carry over to the first string, because that was like the second string playing. It'll carry over to the first string offense, because the second string offense went out and did their damn thing. Mason Rudolph did the damn thing, looking good. I've always been a Mason Rudolph fan. Shut up. Y'all know it. I've always been a Mason Rudolph fan. I believe he got dicked around all the way back to Ben. Ben was young or maybe a little bit not ego, but looking over his shoulder, this, that. And I don't blame him for that. You know, that's natural and that's human. But still, he dicked over Mason Rudolph. And then Mason Rudolph gonna go through all that, leave, then come back. I was like, Mason, if I was you, I'd take off, man. I'd get out of here. Even I was like, you know what, Mason? Go someplace else and do something. Because this place, you know, I don't know what's up. You got a mark on you that don't see unerasable. And I don't know if it's valid or not. But I was like, I wanted to see him go someplace and tear it up. I was cheering for him. Of course he didn't. It could have been the scheme there, could have been the team there, could have been him, I don't know. But people, you know, fans and reporters and beat writers and all the football writers are quick to say, he'll always be a backup. You know, quote unquote, him or Mason or anybody else. He's not good enough to be a elite quarterback in the NFL. Now, so many people say it so matter-of-factly and just agree on it without even it being questioned, that there has to be something I'm missing or something that I'm not knowing. Because too many people just, he's just a backup. You know, he's not gonna be, either they trust in the system. If you're not drafted first round or second round, it's almost like you're branded not to be a starting quarterback. You're always gonna be a backup. I guess they trust in the system. They figure that the draft system and evaluation is so thorough that it can't be mistaken. Then you look at Tom Brady, 6th, 7th round pick, greatest quarterback ever. You're gonna have those anomalies, so I don't really count them. You know, it's just, you're gonna have those anomalies. I don't really use them as a, you know, see, I told you. No, you're always gonna have those, both ways. So, but I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they do that. I might have to put an insole in my shoe. Feeling a little bit of strain on my left heel. I might put one of my old plantar fasciitis insoles in there. But I also know that, hell, after you wear them for 2 years, they probably ain't no good no more. So we'll see how I do that. Give myself some arch or something like that. See if it's I feel a strain on my left heel. But we look good. We look good. Mason look good. Always been a Mason fan, even with his weird mustache. But my Jesus-loving football team, my team loved us from God. Christians to the, openly. Not super openly, but you know, they don't hide it. They loved us from Jesus. Biggest atheist in the world I am. And I worship a football team that loves Jesus. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever you need to believe in, 26, 27, 28-year-old boy, to keep your ass straight. Even though you cussing, doing this at night, drinking, smoking, do whatever you want to in the club, strip clubs, whatever. As long as you believe that there's a higher power overlooking you to give you some restraint or a little bit of humility, I don't care what it takes. Because I don't expect you to be the smartest, most philosophical, most understanding creature on the planet. Because you're a monster. You're a physical monster. Just oversized, big, huge, fast. So it's like a miracle. It's like a miracle of the human body, some of these athletes. Ever since they were young. They were prized for their athletic ability and their size. The whole community said, oh yeah, you know, that's our boy. We're gonna get him through. Not get him through. Well, in a way, yeah, get him through. Teachers, they're gonna help him out. Look this way, look that way. Maybe to, you know, benefit him. Coaches, parents. Even when you go to get a sandwich at the sandwich shop, oh, that's so-and-so. Here, it's on the house. You know, because, you know, they've got a lot of pride in the neighborhood boy who, you know, has a talent in representing their neighborhood or their city. And they want to support, and that's natural, it's human, you know? They say even gang members and them street niggas, they'll see somebody that has talent or promise, and they'll leave them alone. They say, no, don't mess with him. You know, he gonna be all right. You know, he'll like get a pass, or, you know, don't. You know, they'll try to protect him to a degree. So some of these monsters grow up with that. Physical monsters. They grow up with that, and they become mental monsters because of the way they've been treated all their life. They don't know any other way. They're used to getting and having whatever they want. Don't go to class, somebody do their homework for them. Girls throwing themselves at them. Free food, free this. You know, give me that. You know, I want them pair of shoes. Got them pair of shoes? You know, from a store or something. And then, you know, a lot of times, if they do make it, which is like 1 in 1,000 or something like that to play in the NFL, they make that money and they come back and, you know, they're celebrated, and it's good for the community. May even bring some money back. You know, they may even remember, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we used to give me and my family free sandwiches. You know, so here, I want to do this for you. You know, hey, the teacher, you told me that I should, you know, do this, do that, and you helped me get on the straight and narrow, or you help me out through school, this or that. And I want to, you know, help you out, do something nice where you go, you know, season tickets or something, come to the game, sit in the booth, you know, something like that. I'm just explaining that to go over the mentality of some of these beasts. I mean, they are beasts. You got to see how big these young boys are. They're young too. They're young and dumb. Only because of experience, lack of experience. And they have so much power, so much physical power and stature with that inexperience and that testosterone and that youth energy. They're dangerous almost. I used to always say, all the Michael Jordans and super athletes didn't make it to the NBA. Some of them niggas breaking in your house at night and robbing you. Some of them niggas went the other way and can do some Michael Jordan type shit when it comes to getting in your house or taking your car and taking your money, robbing your building or whatever. Burglary or robbery. Like all the super athletes ain't in the NFL. Some of them watching you walk down the street every day. So, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Trying to spin this around so that it's tight. It's nice and tight there. Oh, so you're going to be tight there, is that it? Now I can't spin you around. All right. Look at this. As soon as I go that way, it's untight. Yeah, that ball, there's a ball that's clenched between two pieces of plastic that you screw that's become worn, and it doesn't perform the tightest grip. Therefore, it makes it the actual pivot to be loose a little bit, but you know, it's still working. This is my go-to selfie stick. And for this one break, I ordered up. It's like I think it's the third one of the same type I bought. Because it stands up, it has a remote that's right on the handle, so I can set it up. And I've told people before, one thing about a selfie stick, you can have it facing you, or you can have it facing away from you. And you can like set the camera up on the selfie stick, and the remote is like right there at your thumb on the handle. So you can almost like shoot it like a gun. Just take pictures like boom, 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 boom. I ain't gotta Use two hands. Ain't got to steady the camera. You can just boom, 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 boom. That way you can, instead of using it as a selfie, you're using it as a mount, or mobile mount, or I don't know what they call it. You're using it as a something, all right? And it's easy to shoot. You can shoot hundreds, dozens and dozens of pictures. It's like boom, 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 point, shoot, boom, 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 boom. And this thing stands up too. And I like the way it handles the bigger cameras. I like the mount. The mount isn't, what's the word? The mount isn't spring loaded. It's actually a big, long screw that you have to twist and turn and tighten up. And every time, and I don't mind that. I remember when I first got this, it didn't work. When I first got it, I was like, this selfie stick don't work, it's stupid. Well, I was like, well, and I knew it had to be, it was so to the point that I couldn't get it to work that I was like, it had to be me. It's gotta be me, I'm doing something wrong. Let me read the instructions, let me take my time. Let me Google, do something. And I finally got it to work. I'm like, okay. I get it now. Because at first I was like, hey, this ain't happening. I was like, this ain't even working right. Yeah. But I got it straight, so. Anyhow, here we go. Over to the wild blue yonder. I almost want to stop this and start it again, just so I can go exercise splicing without compression and see what's going on. I kind of want to do that. Just to see, start and stop it, and then have to get home and splice it together. But the only reason I'd be doing that would be just to test it. And I don't know if it's definitely not worth it. I shouldn't be doing it just to be doing it, but I want to very badly. I shouldn't do it just to do it. Let me just say that. I shouldn't do it just to do it, but I am. Okay, now I'm just doing stuff to be doing stuff. Now I'm just doing stuff to be doing stuff. Just to see if I spliced these two together. Took a little break, walking, back to talking to y'all now. And we'll see how, it goes. I remember I was shooting like this at this angle one time. It's kind of cool, but you don't see nothing but me. Ain't that the idea? You see nothing but me? It's a lot easier to carry like this, I tell you. It's a lot easier to carry, but if I go like this, you can see behind me and stuff. And that's kind of what I want. For there to be a little bit of scenery. Scenery is the word. Even though I'm backlit right now, it's probably a little bit fuzzy or glary or out of focus or whatever the word is. Not the sharpest of pictures. So they're doing a lot of work around, I told you. They're doing a lot of work up and down here. He's supposed to stop. He's supposed to stop, and you know it. He's supposed to stop and let me go by. I'm gonna do like multiple of these, just so I can get back on, go through the splicing process and see. Because yesterday I found out that the rendering process, turning the actual project into video, was crashing because I was using video in reverse. And I took the video in reverse off and it worked. So it may be that the video in reverse might need to be only on certain tracks, or, you know, I'm gonna switch around and see what's going on. But I had to take I would have certain elements of the project, certain clips to be video in reverse. And it was crashing the rendering process, or making it take so long that, you know, it wasn't feasible. So, and I also want to see, you know, I'm trying to figure out the limitation. I guess basically you can call it the limitations of the software. I can probably get online, go to their forums and see, hey, because I'm sure I'm not the first person to experience this. Get on the forum and say, hey, rendering crashes when blah, 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 blah. So think about the internet. You could just about, you very much almost ain't the first person to go through this. Very much so. It's highly unlikely you're the first person to go through any of this. And somebody has already done it, raised the question. And even though I go through stuff and I do stuff, I don't really raise the question that much. It's almost like I don't have to, you know. But every now and then I'll put a, you know, post out there, hey, I'm having this issue. Especially if I don't see anybody else, you know, can't find it anywhere, I'll go to a forum and say, hey, I'm having this issue, anybody having this issue? But rarely, because usually I go out there, it's already done for me. I was just thinking about checking the remote on this thing. Checking the remote, I definitely work with the multiple videos. It was one point, turning the remote on, stop the video. Let's have some fun. See if it's still charged. Doesn't look like it. Let's see even if it's still working. No, don't look like it's charged. If it's still working, I think it might have even got wet. And I lost one of the remotes, but since I bought multiple versions of this stick, I had an extra remote laying around, but I lost it. So now I got it. I got the, like a tie wrap or one of those hair tie things, elastic ones, looped around the remote to hold it in place so I don't lose it, because it's magnetic, but it still doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like, I'm gonna take it out and charge it and check it out. The switch, turn it on, was kind of labored, to put it mildly. So I don't know if it's working or not. But anyway, no more delay. Feel good. Started watching a thing about Katrina yesterday, documentary. And you know, I'm starting to realize that regardless of the story or the plot, it's the way it's presented that can make it interesting. Because it's like, I ain't gonna say I know the story of Katrina, but you know, you kind of know how it ends. But the way they lay it out, and the way they tease you with it, and the way they kind of put the things in place, and the pictures and the visuals and the aesthetics of it all, it's entertaining to watch. It's nice just to sit there and experience it, you know? Just to be able to sit there and just to kind of go through it. sitting there eating your hamburgers or whatever. It's pleasant. It's a pleasant experience. So that's where we're at. Oh, did I tell you I checked the, I made a super.com, but actually the reservation went through. I got a good price, super.com. I got a good price. And the reservation went through, but then they tried to continually charge me for something. I probably should have went to the website and got that cleared up. But when that happens, if you initiate a transaction and you actually okay them to do that, you got to kill the card. Fraud department to kill the card. And my card, I couldn't use my card at 7-Eleven or anything. So I had to kill the card. And they gonna send me another one, 7-10 days. And I had already switched everything all the way over to them already. But you know what? I think the online stuff worked. It was just the physical card was canceled. So I'm gonna start getting all these, payment decline, and I gotta go back and switch it over. But I use a password subscription that holds my credit card, and Samsung has one built in. It's not so bad, and Google has one, it's not so built in. It's go so bad. And I got a third party when I pay for it, my main primary one. It's not LastPass, but something like that, knockoff, something like that. Not even knockoff, it might even be better than LastPass. And it works. It actually pulls up my credit information. It really does the passwords good. It's like, it took me a while to believe and understand, or to trust in the fact that I won't even know what my passwords are. You get to the point you don't know where they are. They could be 15, 20 characters long, it doesn't matter, because you don't need to remember them. And when it works, it works. It works on the mobile phone, on my phone, on Edge and the apps, on the computer. When it works, it works. And I got it working now. I got it set up to where it's really doing really good right now. To where I log in, my Edge, I got an Edge extension, I log in, I can open it right up. I don't got to do any, and I got it hooked up to my biometrics on my laptop. So I can use a fingerprint to open it. It's just, once you settle into that rhythm, you get an understanding of, how it's supposed to work and how it works. It's very efficient, it's a good service. So I don't even know what half my passwords are anymore. I still got a couple of go-to passwords that I use in the pinch. Something that I've been using for years. But mostly it's like when I sign up for something, do you want to save this password? Yes. And then they give you a chance to update it, correct it, save, and then you go back to that website, it automatically pop up, and it's getting better and better. Integration is getting better and better. And that, yeah, cut that shit off. Cut that shit off. I will say though, most landscapers are very mannerly when it comes to that stuff. And I attribute it to their Hispanic culture. I do. I attribute it to their Hispanic culture and how humble a lot of them are. They're very, they see you coming, they cut it off. They're like, all right, I'm gonna stop this and start it again. Check this out, what if I walk like this? This is like super comfortable. I'm I wonder what it looked like, because it's like super comfortable. I just got the, I'm holding the handle and this other phone hanging down. Let me shorten it up a little bit. If I walk like this, how's that? Because this is like super comfortable. Even if I was to swing my arm, I can hold it steady. Or might as well put a camera on my hat. What if I put a camera on my hat and walk? Then I have both my arms free. I can do that. Couldn't I? I was granddaughter. I called my daughter, and granddaughter was there. She said, "Oh, granddaughter, she just wanted to get back in bed." You know, my daughter was like, "Oh, I wonder if she's getting sick, because she ain't, you know, being her normal terroristic self." And she said, "I wonder if she's getting sick." You know, being her normal terroristic, you hear, "I want to go back to bed. I want to go. Come on, I want to go back to bed with mommy. I want to go get in mommy's bed." Blah 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 blah. You know, Kim was like looking for the thermometer. She's gonna take her temperature, fever. You know, she got stung by a bee or something. They think, you know, might be a fever, this or that. You know, my daughter went in that direction. But I said, I called her, audio. I said, "Granddaughter there?" I said, "All right, let me call her back video." So I called her back video. The only fever that child had was a fever for an audience. She had forgot, you know, she wouldn't even talk about going to bed or nothing no more. She put on a show. She started doing her, you know. Some people might say she happy to see me. I think she'd be happy to see anybody, but probably me, you know, because I'm sure I had an influence on her personality and her energy and all that. And she know, pretty much when I'm around, you know, it's fun time until it's time to work. And she asked me, "Are you working?" She said, "No, I'm not working." Because that child has watched me work. That child has watched me work all her life. I sit her on my chair in front of that computer before she could even sit up. So she knew about that key. She was trying to reach that keyboard ever since she was. She was trying to reach and touch and kick and that keyboard ever since, all her life. So as soon as she see me, we started talking. She put on the show, got the broom, started sweeping, just doing all kinds of stuff. "Look my shoes, look this," you know, just animated. And of course, my daughter, being smart, went and started, you know, doing other things while she was distracted. Set her phone up and let, you know, granddaughter perform, me and her talk and go back and forth. And she telling me this, I'm asking her that, and you can see my daughter doing other stuff. You know, but no more. I want to go back to bed. I want to go get in mommy's bed. I want to go back to bed. You know, I said the only fever she had was a fever for an audience. You can see her energy just turn right up. Because the other thing I was thinking too, to her, or she recognizes that people on the screen are maybe not actually there, but they're there. They're watching too. She'll get shy seeing people on the screen. I was in a Zoom meeting with my supervisor, and she came in the room and she saw, you know, my supervisor on the screen, and she went into shy mode. You know, granddaughter wasn't being a terrorist, because she know how to act. Granddaughter know how to act. And even when she was little one time, you know, I set her on my lap. We was in a Zoom meeting. And all of a sudden you see all the, because, you know, all the Zoom pictures of everybody, you know, was there. And she really, you know, was not nervous, but reserved and just looking. And then she, eventually came out of it and started trying to grab the camera and do this and, after she came out of it. But at first she could actually probably see the people. So to her, it's like they're actually there. The same significance. I wonder what this looked like. Might be upside down. I guess I could flip it over. I could vertically flip it if I have to. I could definitely edit it any kind of way, but will I is the question. So it was fun talking to her yesterday. I was on my way to Cha-Cha's before the game. Got a burrito, carne asada burrito, green chili, cheese, guacamole in there. Guacamole was in there. Cilantro and whatever stuff they put in them. But really it's just the green chili cheese and it's the green chili. And you can buy that at the store. And the flour tortilla and the meat. So basically I can make these things myself. And I gotta realize that. I can make these things myself. But you go ahead and pay $14 for that burrito. Sometimes it's worth it. You don't have to, go through it. So anyway, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all. Theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. Yeah, I'm going to 7-Eleven to get my Black & Milds. My name is Jeffery.